In the heart of Victorian England, the name William reigned supreme, signifying strength and determination. Mary, a name echoing through the ages, held a dual nature. Bitter or beloved, it reflected life's complexities, resonating deeply within the Victorian psyche. John, a name imbued with deep religious significance. God is gracious, it whispered, reminding faith in a rapidly changing world. Elizabeth, a name that spoke of unwavering faith, pledged to God, reflecting the profound influence of religion in Victorian society. George, a name rooted in the land, a testament to the enduring connection between man and nature. It evoked images of rolling fields and honest labour, the backbone of Victorian society. Sarah, a name that whispered of regality and grace. Princess, it declared, hinting at aspirations and dreams in Victorian society. James, a name shrouded in biblical history, meaning supplanter, hinting at ambition and the will to overcome. A name borne by kings and commoners, it spoke of a desire for progress and a place in the world. Emma, a name that transcended borders and cultures. Universal, it proclaimed, reflecting the growing interconnectedness of the Victorian era and world. Charles, a name resonating with the spirit of liberty. Free man, it declared, echoing the desire for individual expression. Anne, a name synonymous with elegance and refinement. Grace, it whispered, reflecting the Victorian era's ideals of femininity and decorum. Henry, a name that spoke of authority and leadership, ruler of the household, reflecting the patriarchal structure of Victorian society. Alice, a name that shimmered with ethereal beauty. Noble or exalted, it hinted at a realm of dreams and imagination. Thomas, a name that spoke of duality and connection. Twin, it declared, hinting at unbreakable bonds of family and friendship. Margaret, a name as luminous and precious as its meaning. Pearl, it whispered, evoking images of timeless elegance and refinement. Robert, a name resonating with ambition and glory. Bright fame, reflecting Victorian fascination with achievement and legacy. Jane, a name that echoed with quiet strength and faith. God is gracious, it whispered, a testament to Victorian life. Edward, a name of responsibility and protection. Wealthy guardian, reflecting inheritance and lineage. Clara, a name that shone with an inner light. Bright or clear, it reflected the Victorian ideal of intelligence. Joseph, a name imbued with faith and the promise of abundance, it declared God's increase, reflecting Victorian belief in divine providence. Ellen, a name that illuminated lives. Light, it whispered, reflecting the Victorian fascination with knowledge and enlightenment. Arthur, a name resonating with ancient legends and heroic deeds. Bear, it declared, reflecting Victorian admiration for courage and strength. Catherine, a name that whispered purity and grace. Pure, reflecting the Victorian emphasis on virtue and morality. Frederick, a name that spoke of leadership and diplomacy. Peaceful ruler, it declared, reflecting the Victorian desire for stability. Harriet, a name that spoke of domesticity and the importance of the home. Ruler of the home, it declared, reflecting the Victorian ideal of the woman as the family's heart. Alfred, a name that resonated with wisdom and sound judgment. Wise counsellor, reflecting the Victorian respect for knowledge and experience. Louisa, a name hinting at a fiery spirit and unyielding will, reflecting Victorian admiration for strength and determination. Samuel, a name resonating with faith and divine favour, heard by God, reflecting the Victorian belief in prayer. Charlotte, a name that echoed with independence and adventure. Free man, it declared, reflecting the Victorian spirit of exploration. A name borne by writers and explorers, it defied categorization. David, a name resonating with love, loyalty and courage. Beloved, it reflected the Victorian ideal of the romantic hero. A name borne by kings and poets, it spoke of charisma and leadership. Eliza, a name that whispered of devotion and a strong moral compass. Pledged to God, it declared, reflecting the Victorian emphasis on faith and piety. A name borne by writers and reformers, it spoke of a desire to make a difference. Richard, a name resonating with strength, leadership and adventure, a brave ruler, reflecting Victorian admiration for courage and ambition. Francis, a name echoing independence and liberation. Free, it declared, reflecting the Victorian struggle for equality. Walter, a name that spoke of leadership, strategy and military prowess, reflecting the Victorian fascination with military history and conquest. Hannah, a woman of grace and elegance. Grace, it declared, reflecting the Victorian ideal of femininity, poise and refinement. Albert, shining brightly. Noble or bright, it reflected the Victorian era's admiration for intellectual pursuits and scientific advancement. Maria, a name echoing timeless beauty and melancholy. Bitter or beloved, it reflected life's complexities. Ernest, a name that spoke of integrity, sincerity and a strong moral compass. Serious or resolute, it reflected the Victorian emphasis on hard work, discipline and commitment to one's principles. Martha, a name resonating with practicality, hospitality and duty. Lady, reflecting the Victorian ideal of the gracious hostess. Alfred, a name that whispered wisdom, knowledge and a thirst for learning. Wise counsellor, reflecting the Victorian respect for education and intellectual pursuits. Rebecca, a name that hinted at destiny, intrigue and the power of connection. To bind, it reflected the Victorian fascination with romance, fate and the complexities of human relationships. Herbert, a name resonating with strength, courage and a noble spirit. Bright army, reflecting Victorian admiration for military prowess and chivalry. Lydia, a name that whispered of exotic lands, faraway cultures and a spirit of adventure, reflecting the Victorian fascination with travel, exploration and the expanding British Empire. Edwin, a name resonating with friendship, loyalty and generosity. Rich friend, reflecting the Victorian emphasis on social connections and community. Agnes, a name that whispered of innocence, purity and unwavering faith. Pure or holy, it reflected the Victorian era's emphasis on virtue, piety and a close connection to the divine. Bernard, a name resonating with strength, courage and fierce determination. Brave as a bear, reflecting Victorian admiration for fortitude. Matilda, a name that echoed with strength, resilience and an unyielding spirit. Battle mighty, it declared, reflecting the Victorian fascination with history, legend and women who defied societal expectations. Sydney, a name that whispered of faraway lands, a connection to nature and adventure. Wide Island, it declared, reflecting the Victorian fascination with exploration and the vastness of the world. Florence, a name that resonated with beauty, growth and a zest for life. Flourishing or prosperous, it reflected the Victorian ideal of progress, prosperity and the pursuit of true happiness. Hugh, a name that spoke of intelligence, compassion and a deep understanding of the human spirit. Heart or mind, it reflected the Victorian era's emphasis on both intellect and emotion. Beatrice, a name that shone with warmth, happiness and a contagious zest for life. Bringer of joy, it declared, reflecting the Victorian ideal of love, laughter and happiness.